Smart. Okay, so first of all, here's what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be looking at distances on maps and real maps and using the actual scale in the corner as opposed to the papers I print out. So down in the corners you can see that the maps have symbols. They have a little legend down in the corner. They tell you, certain populations down here in the corner. That's great and fine and dandy. I actually want to look.
Talking about distances.
Yep, that is down here in this corner. This is the number I want you to look at right there. It gives you a sense of scale that you can actually measure in the corner. So if you're looking down there, it has a approximate scale of so many inches per mile. So that little scale. So we're going to use centimeters now. So take your ruler and let's measure that little bar that's in that corner. So this is the bar that we're actually measuring right here. It says bottom one down here. It's like black, white. It says approximate scale is 1 to 16.
4 meters.
Yeah, so should be about 4 millimeters. 4 centimeters, sorry, 4 centimeters. So yeah, we're looking at almost 4 centimeters. It's almost 4.1. 4.1 centimeters. I'm gonna go 4.1 to be more exact. Okay, so 4.1 centimeters. Now, how many miles is that?
16.
16 miles. So 16 miles is to 4.1 centimeters. Now, if you wanted to flip that fraction over and say 4.1 over 16, you're totally fine doing that. It'll be the same math. Okay, so now that we have this idea, we can find distance between towns. So what I'm talking about is, like, let's say we go up here and we look at a certain town. I want you to go find Burlington. It's down in the lower right corner, Burlington, Iowa. In fact, I'm gonna put a little dot up here just so you know where it's at. It's right there. Where my little blue arrow is. There. So Burlington is down here in the southeast corner of Iowa. Okay? So it's way down there. It's right below Davenport. It's almost the southmost corner.
Where?
Okay? Right here.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. Burlington. I want to find the distance to Ottawa. Ottumwa, I should say. Ottumwa. Sorry, almost mispronounced that. Ottumwa is right here. That's Ottumwa.
Where's Ottumwa?
Right there. Right where the orange little arrow is. So, it's the next major city that's next to it. So.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna find the distance. So what we need to do right now is measure straight line distance, no paths, no curves, nothing like that. So you're gonna measure the real distance.
Do you want us to be on a road?
No, you're gonna measure the straight distance from the circle with the dot to the circle with the dot. Burlington's city center is right at Gulfport, it's right at the top of the water. You're going to the dot that has the black center. It's gonna look like this. This is what you're measuring to, but it's black, okay? So you're measuring from dot to dot. That's what we're measuring from.
So about 6.
So it's more than 6. It's in centimeters.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's like 18.
18 and a half? 18.5?
Yeah, like I was saying, like 6 of the on the ruler.
6 inches?
No, for centimeters, like 6.
0.6.
Oh, yeah. So if you're going let's say it's 18.6 centimeters. Okay, 18.6 centimeters. Let's do that. Okay. Yep. All right. Let's say it's that. I think it's 18.5 or 18.6. What was it?
I got 18.6.
0.6? Okay, we'll do that. Okay. All right. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out the actual distance here. So how do we do it?
Cross multiply.
Cross, multiply, and divide. So you're going to start with the number above or below x, you're going to cross, multiply, and then divide. So you should be taking 16 times 18.6, that's multiplying the diagonal, and then you're going to divide by 4.1 on a calculator. And yes, you do need a calculator. And that will tell me the exact distance in terms of miles.
Perfect.
What do we get?
18.6 times
16.
72 miles.
18.
0.58.
So what do you do?
Cross, multiply, and divide. 18 times 16 divided by 4.1. Okay, 72.58.
16 divided by 14.1. I got 20.
You did 18.6 multiplied by 16, right?
18.6 times 16.
Big
And you
number.
divide by 4.
Divide by 4.1.
72.58.
Yeah. 0.58.
.58.
There you go. All right, so that's in
6.5.
terms of miles. So today, when you're doing this, no calculator on a cell phone, because it will get you wrong.
Okay.
I guarantee it will. So, just because it doesn't register a button fast. So, all right, that's what we're doing. That'll be your first 5 problems in your homework. I'm gonna give you 2 towns. You find the distance to them, okay? Pretty
Are we
straight.
using this map?
So yes, we're using this map. Okay, so that's your first one. I'm gonna have you find a certain distance to a town. Now, the second type of problem is the more challenging one.
Is there problems gonna be on this map, or?
It's on this map, and I have a separate sheet of paper you write down all your work and stuff on. Okay, all right, so this is gonna be your first one. Does that make sense? Find 2 towns, measure them. The hardest part about today, and you might have to work together, is figuring out where the towns are located. That's pretty much the hardest part. So you have a pretty big map here. I try to pick major cities, or cities that are around here if they're smaller. But major cities, you can see the major cities are in yellow. There's only a select few of them around this state, so certain ones that reach a certain population size. Okay, now, second type of problem. If you had, I'm gonna make up numbers here. Let's say you had 8 gallons of fuel.
8.
8 gallons of fuel, and your car gets about 13 miles per gallon.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, so let's say that's just what your car gets. You got a kind of a bigger truck.
My
you
car
got-
gets 18 in town.
Yeah, so, yeah. So let's say you're getting 13 miles per gallon. Not very good.
Is
And
it-
you want to know where you can travel. So the big thing you need to know is this. You need both these numbers so you can figure out the mileage you can travel. But then the second thing is you got to know your starting point. Starting point for us, we're going to go Ventura. Yeah, we're going to go Ventura. Okay, so Ventura, Iowa. So now, this is the one. This will be the hardest one so you don't accidentally draw. You'll have to really trust your ruler and kind of make a sense of marking. Okay, so first step, before you start getting into it and finding it really quickly. Okay, we need to figure out the actual miles we're traveling. The scale hasn't changed. We're still using the 16 miles.
Where are we traveling to, Nathan?
So that's 16 miles and 4.1 centimeters. We're still using that scale. That'll be the scale you're gonna use on every problem. Okay? So now, the gallons and miles per gallon, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to multiply these 2 numbers together. So this is where I'm gonna need a calculator. I need to know what 8 times 13 is. Say it again? 104? 104, okay, so now, you have to do a little bit of calculation here. We have to figure out how many centimeters 104 miles is. It's a long ways in Iowa. So, this is where we'll
4
take,
divided by 16, 6.5.
so, okay, so you're taking 104 times 4.1, and then you divide by 16, right? Cross, multiply, and divide. So 104 times the 4.1,
26.65.
divide by, okay, so, and that's 16. And you got, say it again?
26.65.
6.5. And that's centimeters. Okay, does that make sense what we just found? We're going 26.65 centimeters. Everyone's getting another calculator? Because I gave you mileage. I gave you how far your car can travel with the gallons and the fuel economy that it gets. So 26 centimeters. So if you start in Ventura, okay, Ventura, and if you look at this thing goes up to 30 centimeters, 35 technically. So 26.65, you're kind of almost near the end. I'm almost about a thumb length from the end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to figure out, okay, here's Ventura, it's right next to Clear Lake. You're just gonna kind of draw this 26.65. You're gonna kind of make a loop, and what major town can I hit? I'm kind of making my little loop here. There's one town in particular I'm looking for. Yeah, say it. Ankeny or Des Moines, yeah, you're right there. I mean, it's almost exactly the right distance. It's 26 centimeters down to the bottom. So that's what you're gonna try to tell me. You're gonna try to tell me a major town that you're gonna hit. You could hit more than one, because if you notice what I was doing there, I was kind of spinning in a circle, kind of holding my thumb over 26.65 6.5 is, and kind of see
Can
what
we,
major
do we have
town.
to name all of them, or can we just name one?
Just the big ones, so maybe you have one or two of them that you think that'll hit.
Okay.
The biggest towns, don't pick some weird little hokey town, it's gotta be something major. Okay? I don't want to have to scour this map, because I'll just type it in Google and figure out where you figured it out. It should be a major city, so you're probably looking at the ones with big yellow blobs, that's probably where you're gonna be
Oh,
hitting.
come on.
So if you can
want-
kind of estimate where you're at, it's gonna be somewhere in there, and I picked this one on purpose because we're only hitting Des Moines, everything
You
else,
don't want-
you would have missed every other major town other
You
than Des
want-
Moines.
you
You would have
got
went right
Des
between
Moines.
Waterloo and Cedar Rapids. Okay, all right, do we understand what we're doing today?
Yes.
Don't draw on these maps, that'll be the hardest part for you today. Okay, I'm gonna
Come
put my mask
Lou.
on.
You don't want us to find down in the boonies for you?
No, I don't want to see any weird town. Okay, here you go.
Here, I'll take two.
Take that back.
Hey, you need a pencil too?
No, I got a pen. I can't come up prepared.
Whoa, whoa.
Okay, I'll turn you loose. If you need calculators, I got plenty up here. I got pencils up there.
I think we only need one map.
Okay, this is your homework. Guess when this is due?
Tomorrow.
No, Thursday, because we don't have school on Wednesday. So you have some time to work on this. I know it will take time, so don't try to rush it. I will give you some time tomorrow in class to work on this as well. We have two major assignments this week. I consider this one of them. The next major one will be much more difficult.
Is this the difficult unit?
I consider this. I think this is one of the more challenging ones this year.
Like, I'm understanding it a little bit, but, you know.
Oh, this is.
Yep, same scale. Yep, yeah, so hey, Addison just asked a great question. Are we using that same scale in every problem? Yes, you're using the 16 miles and the 4.1 centimeters on every problem. That was a scale that was in the corner of your map, we have to use that. Yep, good question.
Have to.
Have to.